Yes, please. Come in.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please have a seat. Can I have your full name, please?
My full name is Israel Nizambayev.
How can I call you?
You can just call me Israel.
All right. Can I see your ID, please?
Here you are, of course.
Everything's fine. Here you are.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, in this first part, let's talk about where you live. Do you live in an apartment?
As a matter of fact, I live in an apartment, but in the past I used to live in a house as well.
And which one do you like more?
It seems to me that I like my flat more than I do when it comes to my house.
Why?
Because in my flat I've got all the conveniences, and I've got my own kitchen, I've got my own bedroom. When it comes to my house, I don't have many things because I have to share the same room with my brothers.
I see. And which room do you like most in your apartment?
Actually, I love my kitchen most because I am very mad about cooking Uzbek traditional cuisine. And what I like about my kitchen is that it is very spacious and convenient as well. And I've got all the necessary stuff to do the cooking there.
Okay. Now let's talk about cold weather, shall we? Have you ever been in very cold weather?
Well, it's an interesting question. Let me think about this.
Sure.
Well, to be quite honest with you, I don't quite like cold weather. But I guess last year I was in the mountainous area in my area, which is called Kasansai. And when I was spending my time there with my friends, there was inclement weather. And it was raining cats and dogs, and it was fierce and cold.
Okay. How often is the weather cold where you come from?
Actually, we've got all the 4 seasons. It's not very cold, even in winter, but sometimes, maybe because of the global warming effect, we might have some cold weather as well.
All right. Are some parts of your country much colder than others?
I think in all the parts of my country we have the same type of weather, like summer is summer and winter is spring and autumn. They share the same amount of temperature.
Okay, and would you prefer to live in a hot place or a cold one?
If I were to choose, I would definitely choose a hot place because I like the sun and I like swimming and spending time on the beach, for example.
Okay. Now let's talk about neighbors. How well do you know the people who live next door to you?
I need to admit that I'm a very sociable person, which is why I know all of my neighbors who live next to me, and we have meetings, gatherings, and we organize parties together. When there is a problem in one family, we do really help each other, and I find our togetherness very, very vital.
Okay. What kinds of problems do you sometimes have with your neighbors?
Well, to tell the truth, we might sometimes have parking problems, for example. We don't have many parking lots in front of our apartments, which is why sometimes conflicts arise, and we try to resolve them as soon as possible.
All right, and how do you resolve them?
By kind of having a peaceful conversation and trying to explain why we need that parking lot, for example, at that very moment. Sometimes there might be some emergency cases, for example. So I find my neighbors very understanding.
And how do you think neighbors can help each other? In what ways?
When you are throwing a party, for example, they can help you organize or do the shopping for you, or maybe they can help you in terms of cooking some, for example, delicious mouth-watering food.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes after cleaning the mess after the parties, for example.
I see. Okay. So now let's talk about sports.
Okay.
Which is the most popular sport in your country?
I think the most one would be boxing. We have got other types of sports as well, but I find boxing the most notorious one. And most of our boxers are world known, and are getting the first places in almost all the Olympiads organized recently, for example.
Mm-hmm. Well, could you please tell me the advantages of doing sports regularly?
When someone is doing sports regularly, he finds himself kind of healthy, and it helps to keep your well-being and your heart beats normalized, and you can reach a very good, healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Which new sport would you like to try?
I would definitely try playing football, for example. I've never played football in my entire life. I'm a fan of table tennis, but I would definitely try football because when I see people playing and when I see the 11 players making up a team, their togetherness, cooperation seems to get some results, and I like cooperation and teamwork as well.
Right. Awesome. Thank you very much. This is the end of part one. Now, in part two, you will be given a cue card, and you'll have a minute to get prepared. After that, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk, and don't worry if I stop you. Please, here's your card. Here's some paper and pencil to make some notes. Please, your time starts now. Okay. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Your time begins now, please.
I'd like to talk about running and jogging in the morning. And I do running in the morning, and sometimes I jog. And at the weekends, I try to brisk walk. And I find these exercises very helpful to my state of health. And so sometimes I play table tennis in the basement in my apartment. When it comes to jogging and brisk walking, I regularly do the exercises in the pitch next to my apartment. And in order to stay healthy, I keep dieting, and I try to eat nutritious meals after jogging and running, and sometimes after playing table tennis. And the reason of my running and jogging in the morning is to keep my heart beating, and the dietitians are telling me that jogging and eating nutritious meals keep our hearts stronger. And I do these exercises together with my family members and sometimes with my close friends.
All right. How important do you say it is to get fit?
I think it's extremely vital nowadays.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. This is the end of part two. Now in part three, I'll be asking some questions related to part two, okay? Can I have the paper and pencil back, please? And the cards. Right, so let's talk about keeping fit and healthy. What do most people do to keep fit in your country?
Well, I think most of the people in my country are trying to do, for example, they're trying to jog in the mornings. I see most of my neighbors running in the morning, and sometimes walking briskly in crisp air. This is what they usually do, I guess.
Hmm. How important is it for people to do some regular physical exercise?
Sometimes people might be ill and they need to do some regular physical exercises in order to strengthen their state of health and improve their health. I think it's very beneficial.
Right. Are there any disadvantages of doing regular physical exercises?
But any kind of sport has its disadvantages. For example, there might be a risk of falling, for example, getting for a scratch on your knees, maybe. So even if there are some risks involved in doing physical sports, people still do it because it gives them a different kind of emotions, I guess.
All right. Now let's talk about health and modern lifestyles. Why do some people think that modern lifestyles are not healthy?
For example, nowadays most of the people tend to eat fast food, for example, and fast food is considered to be not very useful and not very nutritious, but it tastes better than the food which we have in our traditional restaurants or the food that we cook at home. So I think it might be about timing as well. Nowadays people are very busy trying to earn some amount of money in order to make their ends meet, but at the same time they cannot spend much time in order to cook for themselves, which is why they try to eat fast food, which is not very good for their health.
Okay. Should individuals or governments be responsible for making people's lifestyles healthy?
That depends. I think they should have partial involvement. They need to cooperate. What I mean by this, the government should organize kind of advertisements or kind of delivering the message to the people, and whether the food is good or not, for example. But when it comes to individuals, they should also accept that the government is trying to help them, and they need to follow some of the simple healthy lifestyle rules.
Mm-hmm. And my last question for today is, what could be done to encourage people to live in a healthy way?
Could you paraphrase this question, please?
Yeah, how can we let people know how to live a better and healthier lifestyle?
I think we need to send them a message. For example, sometimes we have mixed messages on TV. Maybe we should send them not the mixed ones, maybe the ones which inform the individuals and the people that something is good and has bad effects and maybe side effects. I think the TV would be the best choice in order to inform the people.
Okay, thank you very much. This is the end of the speaking test.
Thank you very much.